let's have this as an interactive session. Yes? Awesome. Which means I talk less, you talk more. Is that okay? Hello? Thank you. Right. So, what do you understand by robotics? It can dance. Wow. So can I.
Robotic is a tool.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. So, anybody else? Any other understanding of robotics? Sorry? Chitty. Okay. That's a nice movie. Yeah, of course, Chitty. Right. So, when you say Chitty, this is probably what comes to your mind. Hey, this is not moving. Correct? That's what comes to your mind as robo. Am I right? Fantastic. So these are actually called humanoids, okay, as they are technically called as humanoids. Okay, so movies talk about these as robos, or only about these as robos. Am I right? Perfect. So now let's look at a little more into what robos actually are. Yes, this is a robo. I'm not saying it's not. Okay, but there are other types of robos as well, which are more beneficial than these. So let's look at the dictionary definition of a robo. Okay, now here is what it is. Now, it's a machine capable of sensing the environment and carrying out computation to make decisions. Okay, so this is what differentiates a robo from a machine. Now, what is a machine? You remove capability of sensing and carrying out computation and to make decisions. Now, that is a machine. The rest of it is a machine. For example, a machine is, let's say, you have a milling machine. You have sheet metals and you have to make holes in it. So today, yes, they're also having a lot of artificial intelligence, but technically, they do not use any artificial intelligence. They just punch holes. Now, that's a machine. Whereas a robo will sense the environment and make changes that are necessary in the real world. Now, that is a robo. How many of you here have used robos? Nobody? What if I tell you all of you have? Sorry? Mobile phones, okay. What if I say you have actually used other kinds of robos apart from that as well? So what if I prove to you you have? Would you believe it? Sorry? Perfect. Perfect. Yes. A washing machine is a perfect example of a basic functionalities of robos. Why? Why do I say that? It's because a washing machine actually senses, okay, so the load in it. Like, for example, if you say the washing machine has 8 kgs of capacity or 6 kgs or whatever, right? So you put more. You try doing this at your houses, by the way. You can, provided the warranty and everything else is taken care of. Disclaimers. Yeah, right? So it will not work. Okay? So once this happened to me a few decades ago, my washing machine conked off while the process was on. So it just stopped at the rinsing process. So what I did, the tube, the pipe which puts water inside, the pump wasn't working. I removed that and put it directly into the place where you put the soap. And I fed water into it. Now, after a period of time, it started giving water out. How is that? It thought, it has sensors in it, which decides, hey, I can take only X liters of water in the tumble. If it overshoots the X, it lets it out. Now, this is an intelligent system which monitors and decides for itself. Okay? So this is a basic robo. While a car is not a robo today. Of course, today with the ADAS technology, which has been launched this year only in some top-end cars, that's changing. But overall, cars are not robots. They are machines. Okay? So this is the actual definition of a robo. Now, let's look at more applications. Do you know the first robo was developed in 1959? 1959, friends. Imagine. And this was that machine. Okay? So it was called as Unimate. Unimate. So there's a specific person, Richard somebody. So sorry for the name. But he developed this machine For guess who? General Motors, the car manufacturing company. You know what this does? This is called as a pick and place robo. It means it picks something up and places it somewhere else. And this is very useful in the manufacturing process and assembling process. Like for example, it has to pick the door of a car and fit it to the frame. And then there's another robo which comes and does the bolting and the welding part and all of that. So that is what a pick and a place robo means. Okay. Now this is a very primitive form of a robo. So you could see here, I'm just trying to figure out if I could get the laser. Sorry. Yeah, here. So you could see here, okay, so this is a fixed one. Okay, so it cannot move. This machine has movement only like that. Okay, so because it is fixed onto this particular neck which moves in only one way. That's fine. Thanks. In only one way here. Okay, so now this is a modern pick and place robo. Now, when you talk about industrial robos, okay, so these are what rule the industry today. Pick and place robos. They have different functionality. So if you look at this spot here, the black one. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna need that. Yes, thanks. It's too light. Thanks. Right. So if you look at this part, okay, this is the one which picks it, and there is a movement here. There is a movement here. There is a movement here, and there's a movement here. Okay. Versus this one. There's only a movement here. That's the difference between 1959 and today. Okay, so these are all the industrial robos that are still functional. Of course, what I'm showing you is only a basic pick and place. There are advanced versions of these and far advanced versions of these also available today in the market. Now, let's get into more options of robotics. Okay, so let's see what they are. Now, this is called a rover, R-O-V-E-R. Okay, so rover is again a word which all of us have heard during the Chandrayana launch as well. So a rover is basically, in technical terms, we call it as ROV. Okay, remotely operated vehicle, ROV. Okay, so this is also an ROV, and in colloquial parlance, it's called rover, which goes on a surface. Surface can be even or uneven. It depends on where you are landing it. Okay, so what this machine does is, can you just think now for a moment? Now, if not for this particular machine, you do you know that there is a concept called as indoor air, and there is a concept called as external air. What is indoor air? Is the air inside a closed space like this auditorium. Okay, so do you know that this air can be polluted? Yeah, there is pollution everywhere, right? So here it's not pollution as it is outside, because we don't have monoxide like from vehicles coming in like it is outside, and other carbon elements. But here also we have a lot of impurities. We have monoxide from here. We breathe out dioxide, so on and so forth. So what this machine does is it goes into the vents where the air comes out of and cleans the entire thing. Now just think about this, friends. Okay, so in this hall, if you are supposed to clean the ducts, there are ducts everywhere. If you look up, wherever you see these horizontal lines, right? These are all the air ducts from which the air is coming down, okay, and going up in certain cases as well. Okay, so if that is not cleaned, you are not able to breathe clean air as such. So this particular machine goes in, cleans, and comes out. How's that? Now, where else is this used for? Let's say a pharma organization which makes tablets for all our illnesses. Right, so there as well, this is used. But for this, there is something called as a cross-contamination. Like for example, just I'm using some colloquial terms here. So we use, let's say, crocin. I'm manufacturing crocin in the first 3 hours, and then let's say I'm manufacturing something else, whatever else, cetirizine, let's say, commonly used ones. Okay, so the components which go into crocin and the components which go into the next medicine, such as whatever else it is different. Now, if the air ducts are not cleaned well, the cross contamination happens, which means particles from the manufacturing process of crocin has a chance to come into the process of cetirizine as well. Now, this is a common flu and common cold, so it's okay. But what about advanced drugs? What about antibiotics? It's a dangerous thing, right? So this machine does cleaning of the entire air ducts so that the cross-contamination doesn't happen. One of the uses of robotics, right? So let's look at some other uses of robotics. Can you guess what this is? Okay, that's right. Volleyball, of course. What are these? What are they doing there? Perfect. So this is, oh yeah, it's a giveaway right here. Of course. Right. So anyway, so this is, if you look at these ones here, the black ones here, okay? So these are all feeding data, and these are all movements here, beyond the humans there, okay? This is the one. And all these are movable, they have wheels here. So what this is doing is, it has got sensing capabilities. Now let's say I am an international level, I'm wanting to be an international level volleyball player. So I go to this particular, by the way, this is a live place in Tokyo, somewhere near Tokyo. So I go to Japan, I go to this particular facility, and I start playing my game. So as I hit, the first few hits, it's learning how I play. Okay, so it'll allow me to score. Now, as the machine learns it, it predicts my next move. And it will say, okay, if the ball is coming at this angle, it's very likely that this guy is going to shoot this side. So, by the time I shoot this side, the machine moves there and blocks it. What is it doing to me? It's telling me, hey, up your game. It's telling me to improvise even further. I could be a good player, but what is stopping me from improving further on? Can you think about it? Recently, let's not go to Tokyo, okay? This happened in Bangalore. About a month and a half ago, I met a friend of mine at one of the tech places. So this man, you won't believe this, he's putting up a robotic cricket academy somewhere near the airport in Bangalore. Now what this does is very, very interesting, okay? Again, like this model, it'll keep throwing the balls, okay? By the way, this is very common in tennis. I hope you all know that there are ball throwers. It doesn't have any artificial intelligence. It just throws the ball, okay, so that you could just practice your tennis skills. It's very old, right? So in cricket, what this person is making of is he will start bowling, and when I hit again like this, it will sense how I am hitting. Okay, now what is the distance between my leg and my bat? That distance. Now what is my gait? Am I standing like that? Am I standing like that? Am I slouching more? The machine, the robo reads everything of me. Okay, and randomly it starts, let's say, an off spin, a leg spin, a fast ball, a yorker, all of it tries. It finds my weakness. How? Based on how I hit, how I drive the ball. Okay? Then what it does is it starts giving me more of my weakness. What does that mean? Answers? Sure. It only means that it's giving me more opportunities to work on my weakness so that I master that particular thing. For example, if I am not able to play a yorker, right? If I'm getting bowled out when a yorker comes to me, it starts giving me more of yorkers. And my coach can decide, like a monitor here, like a monitor. So the coach will also have a monitor with all the statistics and everything else. Okay, so he will come to me and tell me, hey, that's not how you do the yorker. There's a different stance to it. So robotics is actually helping in sports today, even in Bangalore, not just in Japan. Okay, so you name it, friends. Okay, this is the future. Okay, so yes, we're going to come to some other controversial topics as well in the course of the next 30 minutes. But before that, I'm just showing you the use cases where all can robots be used. Okay, and let's look at another one. What is this? Perfect. So do you know that this is a magnified 10,000x? You want to see the actual thing, how this is a robo, by the way. Okay, so you want to see how large that robo is? 1, 2. And you know what this is? So if you look at the finger, this is one robo, this is another one. How's that? And guess what this does? Any guesses? Cleaning what? Sure. Sorry? Nano size, of course. What does it do? Perfect. So it does many things, friends. Okay, so let me appraise you, let me tell you certain things that this particular robo is capable of doing. Okay. Can anyone say what are the functions, basic functions of RBCs? Red blood corpuscles. Perfect. And energy and everything else. So the answer that she gave was it also, along with transporting nutrients, it also transports oxygen to various parts of the body. Okay. So this particular robo has a capacity to release oxygen straight away into this particular red blood corpuscle. So much so that it can keep doing this for months together. Can you believe it? A size this much, this size robo can deliver oxygen to this unit for months together. How's that? That's the tech today. So all you got to do is they inject it, okay, IV, intravenous, they inject it, and then this guy goes in and everywhere, they have the parameters and everything else. So they keep sensing through light. I mean, I could tell you in a way that you can relate it to LiDAR, L-I-D-A-R. Okay, so LiDAR is a process where they leave oh yeah, this is a LiDAR, by the way. So you can leave a laser light like that, and when it comes back, there'll be a sensor here. Of course, this doesn't have it, but generally LiDARs work that way. There's a sensor here. So when it comes back, it detects what is the parameter which is less or more, depending on how much of diversion of light that happens. That's a technology. So using that, this robo can detect what is deficient in the RBC and deliver that specific medicine. How's that? Exactly, that's the next question. So because it is pre-loaded with what is required. For example, in the diagnosis, if the doctors know that there are cysts, okay, maybe in the brain or wherever else in the body, so they load this with anti-cysts, the medicine which works targeted on cysts. You know what this means? Now, if, for example, if there is cancer right next door, if there is cancer at Kidwai, they do chemotherapy. So if I have cancer in my palm, the entire region is subjected to chemotherapy, which means there are some good cells, there are some bad cells in my palm. Good cells also die. This guy does chemotherapy to this alone. Not here, not here, not here. Just this. How's that? Amazing, right? So this is what we are heading into in terms of robotics. It's not just about cyborgs. Right? Any questions still here that I could take? Any of you? Sure. How does it contain? Brilliant. Because when, sit down, please sit. So the question is, how is it that this unit can contain so much of oxygen, which can supply to this for a month or so? The answer to that is oxygen is released because of some chemical reactions. So into this there are certain chemicals which are loaded, and when they react, they release oxygen. It's not drawn like we draw it from the atmosphere. So because of a chemical reaction, oxygen gets released. And that is channeled into this through these probes. These are probes. 1, 2, 3, what you can see, these wires here, these are probes. So through the probes, it gets attached and goes into that particular cell. Yes, sir?
Does it mean that this particular robo is programmed to do a particular thing? It's not as versatile as any other
See,
created machine.
I'll tell you. So these robots basically can be pre-programmed to work in multiple areas. Like for example, killing of cysts. Now the same robo, okay, so there is a bioengineer. Okay, so bioengineer is a person who knows biology as well as engineering. So now this person or this particular team decides what chemical and they load it into this. And that is delivered specifically here. Okay, for example, if somebody SpO2, we all know SpO2 now after coronavirus, right? What is it? Specific oxygen content in the blood, SpO2. Okay, so if, for example, there is a person having asthma or wheezing or whatever, and he or she has less of oxygen in the body, then those chemicals will be loaded into this, which will release oxygen directly into the RBCs. These are at nano levels. Right? Clear? Sorry, what? Rejection by the body, same as medicines. Exactly the same as medicines. Because end of the day, oh no, same as medicines.
So are they multitasking?
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
Or what if there is some bigger area and when we have some infections and something like that, can they get confused while these robots will be moving on their targets?
So if you pay very close attention, okay, this point where I'm pointing behind that wire, there is a camera. It will come out. It will come out in next Krita.
How are these powering up for months?
They have internal systems for it. That's a whole science by itself. They have internal.
They will never get confused, like whether they are reaching their target or not.
I'm sorry, I can't hear. Oh, you? Okay. If you can stand up, please, because when it comes to the mic, it's like everywhere. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Will they never get confused, like reaching their particular targets, even if there is camera? Like how we humans, we might get confused sometimes. And
So that's the whole software. That is the whole software to not allow them to get confused.
okay, then even it can be misused by scammers and some thefts. No,
How?
like how there are online scams going on using.
I don't understand how can somebody.
I mean, sir, if you are using this as a software purpose, then even some attackers can attack it and they change their system for like if they get to know that some enemy is doing these kind of treatments for that purpose.
I think you had a session on cybersecurity.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So these are not that way. Okay. So they are not so readily programmable. So all those checks will be in place. It's not as easy as you just log into the RF, the radio frequency of that particular robo and just do it. No, it's all encrypted. I think you have just had a session on 128-bit and 256-bit security, SSL security, so on and so forth. Now we are moving towards quantum security.
I think maybe that's possible, but not now, maybe later in our upcoming futures.
I wish you well for that.
Thank you, sir.
But be an ethical one, huh? Yeah, sure. Okay, so these are some of the other applications of robos. Okay, so let's move to the other ones. Now, this is, sure.
Doesn't the body fight against this because it's a foreign body coming through the body? But doesn't the white blood cell fight?
It's not a permanent insertion in the body. It has a lifetime of X days. Okay, so it works for X days and then it comes out. It's a temporary one. For now. Sure. I would love to develop such a thing. Right. So now these are more advanced robots. Okay, now what we saw was at a nano level. Okay, now this is back to the macro level. Okay. So what are these? So, and what is this lady doing here? Anyone? No? Yeah. So she is actually trying to do some task on this robo using a controller here. So this is the future, friends. Now, most of us, when we go out and when we start working in the next 3-5 years, okay, so we will be forced to work alongside such robots. That's the future. Let's face the reality. So that does not mean that robots will take away all our jobs. It does not mean that. Okay? It means that it's going to make my job more efficient. Like, for example, if I am in the manufacturing process and if I am manufacturing, let's say, about 20 pieces an hour, with this machine, I can probably manufacture about 250 pieces an hour. Where is 20? Where is 200? 250, 10 times. Now, this is not a new phenomena, by the way. Okay, so we have seen this in the American Industrial Revolution. So when people earlier were only doing things by manual labor, and when machines came back in the US, right, people thought all jobs are going to go away. No, it hasn't been the reality. Sorry. Yes, sir.
Somewhere in 1960s,
Yes, sir.
when computerization was happening,
Yes.
there was a lot of public protest
Yes.
against computerization,
Exactly.
saying that they are losing jobs.
Correct.
But the science has proved other way.
Exactly, sir. Exactly. Perfect. Yep. And today, who knew, friends, that, because of that, because people adopted computer back then, today, we need not carry physical cash with us. Our mobile is our cash. Think about it. Nobody even envisaged it. Nobody even thought that this can be a possibility in the 60s when they were fighting against computerization. I remember banks were doing this a lot back in the days as well, in the 80s and 90s. Right? So this is the future, friends. So we all need to really, really gear up for it. So if that is true, okay, so let's look at some other uses of robotics. I'm sure you had a session on drones in agriculture just now. Okay, drones is also a form of robotics. So I'm going to skip this. Okay, so since you've already had a lot of things. But one thing I would like to add here is there's a lot of demand from coconut growers today. Okay, so to build a robot which can climb up coconut trees and pluck those. Think about it. Okay, it's very dangerous for humans to do. So they have a lot of demand here. Medical, I just explained what it does. Now there's another branch of robotics called soft robotics. Anyone knows what that is? Yeah? Do you know what soft robotics is?
Mostly it uses soft sensors which deals with minute details in cells or things.
As well. So soft robotics is basically, that's fine. Yeah, soft robotics, okay, basically what he said was it uses soft sensors to deal with blood and all of that. Now, basically, friends, soft robotics means something which you can wear. Okay, so it's like a slimy thing. So like this is fixed. Okay, you cannot bend this at any cost. It's made of metal, right? So what if the robo can be malleable? It can be bent to, like, let's say I need therapy for this particular finger. It's become like that. For whatever reason, it's become like that. Now it has to get straightened up. So what if a robo can actually come here, adapt to this particular thing, and slowly turn this as a part of physiotherapy process? How's that? By the way, I met a company, I think somewhere in Sanjay Nagar in Bangalore. Okay, so they have this particular robo today. It's already functioning here. Okay, so what this does is very interesting stuff, friends. Okay, so because, I mean, it's not here because I said it's part of physiotherapy. I'm connecting the dots there. So how many of you know of a condition called as athlete's feet? Athlete's feet, you know that? That's good. So basically what happens is, if this is your feet, okay, this is that, yeah, everybody has an arc like that, right? So for some people, the arc would have collapsed. It would have become flat like that. So when you walk, you walk like that, not like that. You get it? So because of that, what happens? You have problems in your knee and lower back. This is a common thing. It happens to a lot of people. So this company, what it does is, you just go, there's an equipment there. I just saw their video and the PPT presentation. I haven't gone there yet. Okay, so you go, there's a machine, you put your feet on it and you just stand. So there are sensors, okay, which will scan your the curvature of your arch and all of that. Is it high? Is it low? Has it collapsed? And everything else. It senses your body. It senses your gait. Are you standing like that? Are you standing like that? Are you standing like that? How are you standing? Okay, and you have to feed in data, basic data, if you have some lower back pain or knee pain or whatever else. Okay, and then this is the interesting part, friends. So what this robo actually does is they feed a specific material to it, whatever be the material, that is their patented technology. They feed the material, and as per my leg, it carves out using a laser cutting technology. It's customized. It carves out, okay, an insole, which means if I'm wearing a shoe, I can put a sole inside it, inside my shoe, and you wouldn't know I'm wearing it. It just looks like a shoe. But inside, it's giving me support. Like let's say I have a flat feet like that. It pushes the feet like up like that, so that I don't get a pain.
Can be corrected.
Sorry?
Arch can be corrected.
They say it can be. I'm not a medical person, so I cannot vet it, but they say it can be. Yeah. Okay, so this is the technology which is available even in healthcare as of today, even in Bangalore. You need not go to Tokyo or New York or wherever else. Okay, let's talk about defense. Okay, so today we're all talking about the next wave of war is going to be on technology. It's not going to be like shooting with whatever, human. That's not going to happen. It's going to be with tech. So there again, robots are going to play a very, very, very important role. I don't know if the agriculture drone person touched upon this topic, but there is something called as a swarm drone. Do you know what a swarm drone is? Anybody here? Thousands of drones, imagine thousands of drones, okay, are flying in the enemy territory and taking them all out. Controlled by one man, one program. Thousands of drones. Can you think about it? That's the next warfare. Okay, that's going to happen in defense. And fire, we all know that, wherever there is a fire today, we could send up drones, and we could send up, you have something to ask, my friend? You? Okay, thanks. Yeah. So, so in fire emergencies, we know that drones can go and extinguish the fire. Yes, sir? No, I think he's good. Yeah, I think he's good. Yeah. Sure, thanks. Okay, so that's that. Hospitality. Friends, there's a restaurant in Bangalore which serves, where the servers are robots. Anybody been there? Google it out, find out where it is, and go there sometime. So you actually have robots coming and serving food for you. Taking order is on the tab. You just sit down there and you punch in whatever you want on the table, and then in whatever time it is, the robot will come and deliver it to you. How's that? Sorry? Thank you. So that's the hospitality part. Healthcare, again, we have medicine. When I say medical, I mean the medicine delivery. The healthcare is, we saw during coronavirus also that, a lot of robots were deployed suddenly in the hospitals who could get into corona-infected people, give them some medicines, etc. Have you seen that? Awesome. Thanks. So these are some of the uses. Now, I want to open this up for a discussion. Who wants to go first? Sure.
We were told that human beings are the only species which has been gifted by God with a reasoning brain. Sure, will the robots have also got reasoning brain?
Good question, sir. Sure, madam, I'll come to you. Sure. So there is something called as neural networks in the artificial intelligence space. By the way, friends, artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, all these are interlinked. Yeah, all of them are interlinked, by the way. So you cannot have one without the other. It's like a car. You can't have an engine without a wheel. There's no meaning to a wheel without an engine. It's that way. Right, so coming to your answer, sir. So basically, the neural networks will start thinking to an extent. We have not advanced so much that we're going to allow them to do all decisions. And even if that happens, okay, today, there is a kill switch, K-I-L-L, kill switch, somewhere. Whoever creates that particular robo will definitely have a kill switch. For example, if something goes wrong, if some programming, like our friend says, okay, he develops a program for, hacking into that particular machine, So if I'm the creator of this particular robo, I just press the kill switch and that's gone. You can do nothing about it.
Supplementing to my own question,
Yes, sir.
there used to be one English author who used to live in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
If I remember, his name is Arthur Clarke.
Okay.
He has said in his book, there will be a time when the computers, those days only computers, robots were not in
Yes.
circulation,
Yes.
that computers one day will overtake the brain. What's your call, sir?
Okay, the question, friends, here is, will computers overtake the brain? Who wants to answer? Why? Sorry?
That's not necessary. If human beings are made, that we cannot overtake human beings.
No, I'll answer your question, sir. I'll answer your question. Let's open it up to the audience. I'll come to you, sir. Yeah, sure. Anybody else who wants to answer this question? Will computers or AI, the question is, will it overtake the human brain? Okay. Why do you say that? Sorry? Oh, there are robots which cry. Sure. Okay, so the answer, friends, is yes and no. Both. Okay? So the answer, friends, is yes and no both. Why do I say
That's confusing.
it is? It truly is. Okay, now why do I say yes and no? Is because, now let us say, I make a robo to do one specific task. In that specific task, there is a possibility that it will do it impeccably, which means without a flaw. Okay, at least when humans do, there could be a small element of human error. But when a robot does it, there is no human error. It's a machine. It's programmed to do its job. So in specific places, I would say yes, it can do things better than a human can do. Okay, so like, for example, let me give you a live example of what I mean. Now, there is something called as oceanography. Anybody knows about it? It's a very big science, oceanography.
Study of ocean.
Okay, study of the ocean. Okay, so the bed of the ocean. Now, just think about it. Okay, an average depth at the deepest point would be about 6 kilometers. Can you imagine? 6 kilometers down from the water surface. Now, that will be the bed of the ocean. Now, humans can't go there. Why? Pressure. Our bones will break. No, oxygen can be taken care of. They can carry the mask with the cylinder. That can be taken care of. But the pressure at that level is so high that the bones break. So you cannot go down. There, we send ROVs, remotely operated vehicles, ROVs. I showed you one of them there. Right? So the ROVs go down and they do all the searching. Whatever has to be searched for, it could be minerals, it could be the same thing that happens in space. By the way, all the Chandrayaan mission that happens, even the Aditya, everything, not Aditya, but most of the things in Chandrayaan and all that is robotics, by the way. Yeah. So, including Aditya. And when they go down there, so they don't break, they don't disintegrate. And they get us data of what is there, which helps us in furthering our own research, our own development as a species in all. Okay, that's one of the uses. But no, why I say no? Because robots, I don't think we are anywhere close to the era where robots will take over humans. No. Maybe in specific tasks, like I said, it will be impeccable, but not all. The idea of, we have seen in some English movies, that cyborgs come, they kill humans and all that. It's all for a movie.
You say that programming cannot go haywire.
Because of the kill switch. And how many of you know a person called Sam Altman? Okay? Okay, cool. So how many of you know a program called ChatGPT? Fantastic. Thank you. Sam Altman is the creator of ChatGPT. Okay, he's the guy who created ChatGPT. Okay, so what this guy said in a recent interview, adding to that, sir, is that he says that artificial intelligence, which is what ChatGPT is all about, and the likes of ChatGPT have to be monitored at a global level. Okay, so and I was reading sometime in the month of August that our own Indian government is mooting a concept of regulating artificial intelligence. It is still in the ideating stage. It's still not come in as a rule or whatever. They're still thinking how to regulate the entire space of artificial intelligence. Where do you put the barrier and say beyond this you're not going to do, because this is the space for humans to do. Okay, so friends, this is a very, very important question since all of us are pretty young out here. So including you, sir. So yeah, I mean it. Of course he is. Yeah. So what is the future? What are you going to do? How are you going to be? How are you? How are you, everybody? How are we all going to be different compared to robots? Because whatever we can do today, the machine is able to do. How are we going to be different? What are you going to do with those emotions? How are you going to be different? That's very simple. Machines are there which can do all of that.
But what about the scanners which will be there now? With all the parts of robot, we can't fit scanner everywhere now.
Okay?
And then I think that might be challenging for robots to detect, like how we are sensing it from our fingers.
My friend, today we're talking about driverless cars. A car can actually drive through traffic without an accident. So that tech is already there. It's not difficult. You have, I think, what's it called? 5D technology. You have the films coming in 5D technology. You go sit in one of those seats, it will give you fragrance. If you find like, rain falling there, you actually get the fragrance of rain. It's already there in Bangalore. There you go. So, friends, let's come to a question. Okay, now this is something which all of us have an opportunity to upgrade ourselves on. Very important, friends. Okay, so how do we differentiate? How do you all differentiate from robots in the future? Okay, but they can produce more robots. Yeah, so next, what else? Who said that? Perfect. What specifically do you mean by creativity? Okay.
As humans, we can think out of the box, like not just program into something.
Mm-hmm.
We can think differently every time, each time. That is what robots can't.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. That's what I was going to aim at. Friends, let me be very, very honest with you here. Okay, the future is going to be with robots. This is a fact. Let's all embrace it. Like our previous generation embraced computers and mobile phones. In the next 10-15 years, we are all going to embrace robotics.
Okay, if it happens, what happens to human sentiments, emotions?
It'll all be there.
Be there?
It'll all be there. Magnified. The idea of robots, by the way, the idea of robots is not to take away our jobs, okay? It is to, sure, thanks. Yeah, that's also a robot, by the way, can be in the future, telling me, hey, your time's up, you have 2 minutes more. Anyway, so the idea here is, for example, if this was not there, there should have been one person saying 2 minutes more. Now, how ridiculous is that? That thing just gave me a beep here. So this is what robots will do in the future. Okay, eradicate mundane jobs which humans are still doing, like scavenging, for God's sake. Why should somebody do scavenging? It's ridiculous. Why not put machines there? Like coding, for example, if you look at it, basic coding. Why should a person sit and do basic coding? Let AI do it. So creativity, as my friend says there, is everything, friends. So I want you all, irrespective of what field of education you are undertaking at this point in time. Okay, so what do you do, my friend? What do you specialize in? Brilliant. You? Yeah, you. Yes. Sorry? Mechanical. Perfect. Sit down. So, irrespective of what you do, okay, so I would like you all to get creative in your own fields. This is the future. This is exactly what differentiates us from robots. Okay? So creativity is everything, friends. Yeah? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And those of you who choose to get connected with me, here's my LinkedIn, here's my email address. So I'm happy to be connected with you. Yeah? Thank you all. I think my time's up. So any questions, you could send a mail to me. I'd be happy to answer. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.